Kelly.
Got it. We're
Hey,
live.
live. All right. Thanks for coming.
Yes, a little late, but I'm
Yes.
stuck here. I'm on Latina time today.
Hey, and I actually don't have to navigate away today because it looks like
it worked.
Yeah, I'm in the right place. I'm not sure what happened. I guess the software that I typically use has updated or something and got better. So I know we're live. Everybody who's joined us, thanks so much for joining. For those of you who are at the edge of your seats at 11:30 because you were expecting us, because you put this in your calendar. Sorry, we're late. In all seriousness, because we know nobody's doing that. Thank you so much for being here. This is Kelly Sanchez, the head of talent acquisition at DigiCert. She's my bi-weekly conversation partner. I am, of course, Scotty John. You're on my LinkedIn page. Appreciate you guys being here. It looks like, Kelly, noon's not a bad time. We had some folks jump right on today, which is awesome. So
they're spending their lunch with us.
Hi,
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to adjust and look at noon moving forward. But I do want to make a quick comment on LinkedIn here. So I still need to, mute myself and navigate to another place just to make sure that everyone knows what we're talking about today and also knows how they can ask us questions if they have any. So because we're a little late today, because, work and life happen, we're going to keep this one relatively brief. We are going to revisit a topic we talked about way back, I think. And it's been so long now that I'm sure nobody else remembers it. If anybody is here from the very beginning when we started these nearly a year ago, hard to believe. But today we're going to talk about the future of work, specifically the future of remote work. There's some high profile critics out there that we'll discuss, and we'll talk too about some other, unique like schedule setups, if you will. So yeah, I'll be right back. In the meantime, you probably got a teaser question ready for us, right?
I do. And I think it's going to be a good one. Maybe one of my best questions. So hi, everyone. Like Scotty said, we do an intro question while he's being tech. So maybe quicker this go around, because again, I can't believe it's almost been a year that we've been doing these. So the question for today is, what is your favorite decade? So 60s, 70s, 80s, 2000s, and tell us why. So for me, it's the 80s. I love the music. I love the hair. I love the outfits, the shoulder pads, everything denim, the MC Hammer pants. What else is there? Animal print. I wish I had my water bottle to show you, but it is animal print. The one thing I wasn't a big fan of, though, is the bright, like neon workout clothes. That could stay in the 80s. But everything else, love it. Madonna, Whitney, I just want to go back. Did I give you enough time, Scotty? I did. Okay. You could be like part of one of the 80s bands with that hair.
You stole mine. You stole my decade. So yeah, I that was probably the first decade that came to mind. In reality, it's probably because I know it's super cliche, right? But watching Stranger Things, I am not a huge television watcher. I am I do, watch things. I'm watching the Stanley Cup playoffs. For anybody who doesn't know, that's NHL hockey. I'm actually a huge Colorado Avalanche fan. So I'm going to go with the 90s because that's the first time the Avalanche won a Stanley Cup. I was a kid. I watched every game of that season and every game of the playoffs, and that was pretty cool. They won in 1996 and then again in 2002. I should know. Maybe it's 2001, actually. I should know. But anyway, it's a long time ago. They're currently about to go play in the finals again. So either New York Rangers or Tampa Bay Lightning. So fingers crossed they can. It's been 20 years since they've even been anywhere near this part of the playoffs. Super exciting. So I'm going to go with the 90s.
Are you
90s.
gonna go?
What's that?
Are you going to go to the game or try to?
No, probably not. No, I mean, it'd be awesome, but I don't think so. But no, I was going to say like the 80s watching Stranger Things, that's the cliche, right? It's good television. Like that is an amazing series. No spoilers for Kelly, because we talked before we went live and she's not caught up. So any other Stranger Things fans out there, please don't comment about your spoilers.
Yes.
You can comment with your, sorry, go ahead.
No, I said thanks in advance. No spoilers, please.
Yeah. You can comment with your, your support for the Colorado Avalanche if you like. But in reality, we'd love you to comment questions or for that matter, comments about our topic today. We are going to be talking about the future of remote work. And like I mentioned, when we first went live, there's some, pretty high profile critics out there. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about some other options for how to work in the future. Some companies and actually countries are piloting, and we'll keep it relatively brief. But again, any questions that you have for me and Kelly, the head of talent acquisition at DigiCert, please drop them into the comment section. I'm here monitoring that while we have this discussion. Today, we're going to stay, again, pretty loose and pretty quick. So let's just start with, what we've alluded to, the elephant in the room as it relates to this, and that is Elon Musk. And Kelly will make fun of me a little bit because she knows that I tend to like Elon Musk. I'm impressed, right? Some people, he's very polarizing.
Yeah.
Some people hate the guy, and I kind of get that. But, realistically, I think Tesla's pretty cool. I think SpaceX is amazing. And so, but he doesn't like remote work. So Kelly, is he right or is he wrong?
He's wrong. Remote work is here to stay. Like, we just came out of a pandemic. Are you kidding me? I think, definitely companies are having to shift and change how they are going to see future of remote work, if it's here to stay, if it's a hybrid. But his ask of 40 hours a week in office, no, sorry.
Not only that, 40 hours a week in office, or you can go ahead and resign. Right. Yeah. So there's, there's some suspicion out there. You actually filled me in on this theory, if you will, or rumor maybe, that this is just a ploy to basically avoid having to do any layoffs, right? We've obviously seen some high profile layoffs and or rescinding of offers at tech firms as the Fed kind of tries to cool the economy a little bit, specifically inflation. So that's possible, right? That Elon doesn't actually hate remote work as much as he says, but just views this as a clever way to avoid layoffs. But to your point, I agree with you. I think remote work is here to stay. And I think it's going to be driven by the market. I mean, there's a lot of really smart engineers at Tesla that, they believe in what they're doing. They believe in the vision, and they'll probably stay. Frankly, I don't know enough about some of the engineering work that goes on in a company like Tesla, but I imagine that some of that stuff has to be done in office anyhow. Obviously the manufacturing aspect, they ask their factory workers to be in the office or the factory. So there's that piece of it too. But again, I suspect that a lot of, especially the IT folks, the software engineers, people working on the software there, you're probably gonna have a lot of turnover. And again, I've maintained all along, in my opinion, we're going to have a market-driven decision for companies that don't get on board with remote work to get on board or risk losing all your best people, is kind of my thought. You agree?
Absolutely. And even from the recruiting side, we've been saying this for a while now, that it expands your candidate pool for not only looking at certain location. There is great people everywhere. And now you're able to hire from everywhere and they're able to work remote. So why not?
Indeed. Indeed. Very good. All right. So any questions or comments about this, please feel free to pop them in the comment section here on LinkedIn. We're happy to address those as they come in. I'm with Kelly Sanchez, head of talent acquisition at DigiCert, an expert on recruiting and remote work. So, and frankly, I've worked remotely myself now since, even before the pandemic. So,
what do you like about remote work personally?
Yeah, great question. I mean, there's pros and cons. I think what I like most about it is kind of what everybody else likes about it. No commute time, opportunity to spend more time with family. I've got 2 young kids, and to be able to pop out of my office and spend 15 minutes hanging out with my kids, as opposed to like a quote unquote water cooler, that's pretty incredible. So those are the big things. And same thing, in terms of being able to support my spouse and do, get things on checked off the honey-do list in a work day. That's also a nice thing about it. There's other things too, I suppose, but those would be the top things. How about you? What do you like most about it?
Yeah, I agree with you. Those are similar things. Something that I've noticed is being able to go downstairs, grab a healthier snack, make a smoothie, grab something for lunch. In office, everything I always grab was a donut or all the sweets.
Yeah, why are there so many donuts in offices, right?
Right? I love free food, but at least at home, it's a healthier option than just the donut that's just down there in the office. I would love to say I get to catch up on laundry, but I'm the worst when it comes after vacation. My suitcase is still unpacked. So, but other than that, it's great to be able to do, like you're saying, those things around the house that between meetings or something really quickly to get it going.
Indeed. Well, good deal. So again, for those that just joined today, Kelly and I are going to keep this brief. We're basically just weighing in on the future of remote work. We both agree it's here to stay. We'd love any comments or questions you guys have for a couple of experienced recruiters about this topic. And we did want to cover a couple of other intriguing things we're seeing out there. I've heard, there's some companies that have been doing this for a little while, and you might know a little more about this, but it sounds like they're actually piloting a program in the UK that's a little larger and trying to measure productivity. But what do you think about the 4-day work week? Is that something that we're going to start seeing more of? Right now, it sounds like that's still pretty rare. Great recruiting tool, by the way, for companies that are doing it. But what are your thoughts on the 4-day work week, and what do we know so far, if anything? Because I frankly don't know a ton.
Yeah, I've been a huge fan of the 4-day work week, even before we were talking about remote work. And again, it kind of goes aligned with what's important to you. It's being able to spend time with your family. Working remote, you were able to do that. 4-day work week, it gives you one extra day, that longer weekend. And I had a friend before pandemic, in the summer, they piloted having every Friday off. So for 3 months, they had every Friday off, which was nice because they were able to spend, again, time with family while the kids were out on school break. So why not just have that all year round? So I'm really curious to see how it works out in the UK. I think productivity is still going to be the same. 5 days, 4 days, because you're focused. And yeah, you're going to spend, again, more time at home.
Okay. So that was going to be my next question, was really just, productivity, right? That's going to, at the end of the day, we're talking a lot about things that are attractive for employees or prospective employees, whether it's remote work or a number of the other things we've talked about in the past in terms of attracting talent to your organization. 4-day work week is pretty clearly an attractive option for employees and prospective employees. You don't think productivity is going to suffer at all?
I think it could, absolutely, because you got to think also 40 work week, you're condensing the hour, or not condensing, the hours are going to be longer. So yes, potential of burnout, additional stresses because you're trying to do the same amount of work in less time. But I think that's what we're trying to figure out, is the 4-day work week still considered 40 hours, or is it a 4-day work week with 32 hours or 35? Like, what's that balance?
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. More to come, right? I'd say we talked about it before we went live again today as well. Data at the end of the day, you and I maybe it's not our intuition to focus on the data, but we've learned over time that it's obviously super important, and the numbers often will bear things out. So I'm with you. Let's maybe revisit this topic once they've finished that trial run in the UK and measured productivity, see if there's any drops or perhaps there's even an increase. I think it's a no-brainer if you see an increase in productivity. I'd be curious to know how that's measured as well. So we might have to dig into those numbers and really look at that study before we come back on. But I'm with you. Let's see what it looks like and revisit at a later date. What else with regard to remote work, with regard to 4-day work weeks, or are there any other intriguing kind of scheduling options that you've heard about or seen out there that we should discuss before I let you run?
I think those are the two big ones that have been popping up just through my feed, through conversation. I think it's exciting stuff. Like I said, before pandemic, we all just were pretty regular with the schedule going in office. And now it's pushing us out of our comfort zones, especially for companies and recruiters, to really figure out what is the best schedule moving forward.
Indeed. Yeah. And it'll, in all likelihood, it'll be a combination of all of the above, right? Different things work for different organizations. We've heard Elon, and I say the bottom line for you and I, Kelly, is we disagree. We think remote work is here to stay. We think it's there's way more upside than downside, but we'll see, right? More to come. And again, we wanted to keep this quick today since we showed up a little late. Thanks again to everyone who joined. If you're still on, you have a last minute question or comment, now's the time to pop them into the comment section here on LinkedIn. Otherwise, Kelly Sanchez, head of talent acquisition at DigiCert. We'll be back 2 weeks from today around 11:30. Let's just go anywhere from 11:30 to 12. Anything else, Kelly, before I let you run?
No, this was good. And yes, I kind of like the around 11:30 time. That works for me. 11:30-ish. Yeah.
All right, good. Because I've thought about, kind of creating an event and seeing if maybe that in the future, if an event would lead to a little bit more, engagement on these, just because, again, we're popping into people's feed and it's like you're in the middle of your workday. Appreciate everybody that shows up for them. Really do. So thanks so much for that. Kelly, as always, thanks for your time and your insight. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Sounds good. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.